Hello and welcome back to Saturday Recovery with Dr. Nolan. This is hosted by the Bober Academy. I'm your host, Chris Bober, 8-year NFL veteran, played several different positions in the NFL, and now I run and own Bober Academy, where our mission is to train and develop superior linemen to dominate on the gridiron. Just a quick reminder, if you are watching this on YouTube, click the little subscribe button down there. If you're listening to this on any of the podcast applications, please subscribe to our channel. And then throughout social media, please interact with us, like, share, retweet, and send us some comments. And, we're getting the playoffs right now in the Nebraska area and all these areas around here. High school playoffs are starting, and I'm noticing injuries are starting to be kind of a difference maker. And, this mobilization routines that we're giving you guys every week, I think really helps. And I think Dr. Nolan will agree with that. Wouldn't you, Dr. Nolan?
Absolutely. These are all things that we wish we had.
Yeah, Dr. Nolan, of course, from Midwest Movement Elkhorn, right there on 204th Street, MidwestMovementElkhorn.com is where you can find information. But Dr. Nolan, what sort of wisdom are you going to share with us this Saturday?
So this whole time we've been focusing on different parts of the body, kind of some hot topics and injuries that are pretty common. I am a chiropractor, actually. Sometimes people don't realize that I am because we do so much other things. But when it comes down to the basics of everything, we always go back to the spine with all rehab. If we're rehabbing a knee or a hip, we always want to make sure that low back is moving. If we're rehabbing a shoulder or elbow, we want to make sure that neck is moving the right way. Just because that's where it originates from. So we want to make sure that we're going back to the source of a lot of injuries, but a source of where all the stability comes from, or mobility. And so we're just going to focus on getting our spine moving today, and then we'll finish it up with a little bit of stability stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, the spine is just that foundation. And, if there's any sort of issues with that, it seems like it radiates outward, right?
Correct. Uh, I mean, sometimes I can look like a witch doctor with a knee complaint that walks into our office. We do some stuff with the low back, and that knee complaint goes away. It's not just adjusting, it's exercises and things like that. But we do know that like 71% of all hip complaints come from the low back, and we know that 41% of all knee complaints come from the low back. And so you're right, it's just so important.
So if you were going, go do, maybe someone else and, and my knee hurts, so they're sitting there working on your knee. If some of that or a lot of it's originating from your spine, you're not going to get better.
Correct. Yeah. We see that pretty often. People say, hey, I hurt here, and then they just laser in on that area. Especially like when we're talking about the knee, like that is just a single joint that just goes right here. So like you have to look above and below, and oftentimes we look all the way up to the spine. So
good stuff. All right, so show us what you got to give us some spine stuff.
So first off, if you saw like our first video, we did a full body routine. I want to just start off with that. So we're going to just start with the neck, the mid back, and then the low back. So first thing, if you're on the ground, just get into a kneeling position. You're going to tighten your fist down, and we're just going to move the neck. So we're going to nod our head down, take our chin as close to our chest as we can. We're going to rotate all the way to the left. We're going to look all the way up and around. We're going nice and slow. We're trying to draw a big circle with our chin. Okay? So we're going to do one more rep this way. Good. We do 2 reps each way, so we'll go the other way this time. There's going to be some areas that are just a little sticky, and that's where we want to spend just a little bit of time. Good. You notice how slow that was. We're not speeding through these. We want to get that slow, controlled movement. All right. So the next one that we're going to do, we're going to move our mid back. So our elbows are our pencil, and we're going to hug ourselves. We're going to really try to squeeze down, rotate to the left, draw a big circle with our elbows. Going 2 times each way. That was a little fast that first time. Good. Now we're going to go the other way. So we're going to rotate right, big circle, down and around, right.
Yeah, you mentioned you went maybe a little too fast the first one. If you're not feeling like a stretch or some loosening up, you're probably going too fast, right?
Yeah, correct. And if you might hear in my voice, like, this isn't easy. This is a struggle. Like, you should be working at it a little bit. Uh, Nothing comes easy. All right. So now we are going to work on the low back a little bit. So one of the ways to do that, everybody's heard of cat cows. So this is cow, this is cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are really good at moving through this area of our spine, like the mid part. We want to get really good at moving through this low back. So I'm going to pretend like I have a marble sitting right in the small of my back, and I'm going to try to roll that marble off my butt. And then if it just didn't fall off quite enough, I'm going to roll it back into the small of my back. We're going nice and slow. And I'm going to roll that marble off. I'm going to pick it back up, roll it back in.
I did these just the other day. My back was a little stiff, and I did these, and I can't believe how much it got some blood flow in there and loosened it up.
Yeah, these are money makers because of how much we sit. So we sit all day long in positions like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to standing and we're like this, right?
Yeah.
So we don't control those movements very well. So we want to be able to try to move through those. All right. So here's a little trick. Now that we're here, we're going to do the full spine, but we're going to make it look like a wave. So it's going to start down here, and we're just going to slowly move that wave up. Imagine it, because you're not going to be able to see it very well, but we want to move segment by segment by segment by segment, right? All the way up into the neck. So we're going to roll that marble off. We're going to slowly curl all the way up through the shoulder blades, keeping that marble rolled off. We're going to curl that neck. Now we're going to reverse that. So we're going to look up, trying to keep that marble curled off our butt. We're going to lower through the mid spine. And then we're finally going to arch the low back. Now we're going to reverse that the other way. So we're going to start by curling the neck in, pushing up to the mid spine, and then finally the low back comes through. And then we're going to reverse that. Should be a wave of the spine. The better you can do this, the more control you have. Control is the name of the game, right? If we can control each segment by segment by segment, like, I need to work on it a little bit. But if we can control that, basically, then we can lock it down, and we can also move it when we need to. We just need to have that control. So try those waves and try on backwards, and then try on backwards the other way, and just doing the wave with the spine. It's incredibly impactful. So I always say, when I adjust people, we give them free range of motion. We put motion into those segments of the spine. Now we need to be able to learn how to drive the keys to that Ferrari, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the adjustment gives you the Ferrari, but now we got to learn how to drive that Ferrari, right? So that's a really good way. Now, if we're having a little bit more struggle with that low back, we're feeling some pains, we're going to do what we call iron crosses, or page openers, actually. So you're going to prop your knee up here, and that's just going to lock your hips so that you're not moving through your hips, and it actually locks up your low back a little bit. So we're going to move through the mid back And we're just going to go here, trying to touch the back of our hand. Page openers right here.
I've seen that. Obviously, when we were trained, and we're kind of old school here, is that we would start with our cross on the ground, and we put our knees up and over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that puts, I don't know, it feels like a little uncomfortable. I bet you this is a better way to start, just opening up some of that twisting.
So we've talked about this before, but our low back is just not meant to rotate. It's meant to just go this way.
Yeah.
And when we do the rotations where we go here,
yeah,
we're moving a ton through the low back, right? That's where the focus is on the rotation when we move our bottom half. If we get our bottom half stable or stuck in this position, now when we're moving through the mid back.
Oh, okay.
So
makes more sense.
I love this one because I get a few self mobilizations or self adjustments on myself. So then you just reverse it and go the other way. Just getting that rotation through our mid back. I'm a little stiff right now. My pecs and everything else are screaming at me, trying to rotate. Okay, so that's a really good way. Now, I said earlier I screwed up, but this is the iron cross. This is another one that is. So I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit. We're going to be moving a little bit through that low back, but the goal of it is to get that extension right here and then basically get a little bit of rotation. And I got a little limited room here, but we're just going to go back and forth a little bit. Okay. Now, last one. This is one of my favorite. And I give this to a ton of my golfers and a ton of my baseball players. It's just a really good rotational exercise. So what we're going to do, if you have a stick, a broom handle, a PVC pipe, something like that, go ahead and grab it. I don't have one here, but that's okay. But all I'm going to do, the knee that I have up, we're going to rotate into that knee. Okay? So I'm rotated in. I go as far as I can. Then I'm going to squeeze down on my ribs on that side. I'm squeezing down. I'm really working here, and I'm going to try breathe out my belly this way. Right there, squeezing down. And I'm going to come right back up, and you'll see I can rotate a little bit further. Squeeze down. Big breath out the belly. Rotate up. Rotate a little bit further.
Yeah, that's really got to open up those hip flexors and those muscles that are so constricted all day long when we sit.
Correct. And you see, I rotated like good 40 degrees more. It's a kind of cool little party trick. So we're going to do that on the other side. The whole time, we want to make sure that my knee is pointing straight at or straight forward. So I pretend I have a laser pointer. If it goes outside of a little circle on the wall, then it beeps at me. So we're going to squeeze down on those ribs. Breathe out the belly. Come back up. Rotate a little further. Squeeze. My body doesn't like this side a little bit, so I'm going to squeeze a little harder.
Yeah, we all tend to have one side that is a little bit better than the other, right?
Yep. So I need to work on my right side a little bit more, but those are really, really good exercises for the spine. Really good at moving it, getting that mobility to break up. Okay. So we got everything moving. Now we need to be able to lock it down, right? So we're going to go back to our cat-cow. So we are going to find happy medium. So you're going to go full one way, you're going to full the other way, and try to find halfway, right? So your spine should be really straight. If it's not, you still need to work on your control so that you get awareness of where straight spine is, right? So now all we're going to do, we're in this bear position. We're going to dig our toes into the ground, and we're going to lift up off of our knees. We're just going to do what we call a bear plank, right? So we're pressing the ground away with our hands. We're keeping our knees just hovering over the ground. And I'm shaking. This is a hard exercise for you.
Oh yeah,
Okay?
I've tried this. This is not easy.
Yep. So we're just going to hold for like 30 seconds or see how long you can hold in this position without cheating. Okay. Now, for our advanced people, what we're going to do is we're going to get into that same position. So we're going to come up off of our knees a little bit. Now, we want to see if we can raise our hand without shifting one side or the other.
Or
Good.
just lifting it off the ground. It's not easy.
Yep. See, you can tell I'm shifting a little bit,
Yeah.
but the goal is to not shift, right? My shoulders are burning. Your shoulders might burn too, but this is a really, really good way to get the core stabilized and doing all the right things that it needs to do. So I'm breathing hard. That was a good little workout for me. It was a really good way to start my Saturday. So some teams might be in the off season. Start your Saturday off right. We're still training, right? But for those that are playing, I guarantee you this stuff is going to help keep you on the field and keep you out there longer.
Wow, that was really cool. I've never seen it put together quite that way because, we were always taught to do this static stretching and then just do crunches or do planks. And, you're giving us iron crosses and bear planks. So
Right.
that was just a mobilization routine, kind of to get the blood flowing, then just a few stabilization exercises that, I mean, whether or not you're working on going on to next week to the playoffs, or going into basketball season or wrestling, or if your mom and dad at home sore from sitting in the bleachers last night watching your kids play,
Correct.
which happens to us as we get older. So this is a great mobilization and stabilization routine for anyone. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Well,
If
I
all
couldn't
my
do it with
patients
you.
watch this,
I couldn't do it with you, but I'm gonna go do this here pretty soon because I feel a little stiff from last night. I went to 2 football games last night, so a little stiff. I got the sideline or the bleacher soreness. So, Dr. Nolan, thank you so much. This is both very professional but also very practical. So, if for you guys that are out there, Midwest Movement Elkhorn.com is where you can find Dr. Nolan out there in Elkhorn, right by Rick's Meats. And look him up online, look him up on social media. And if you are listening to this on your podcast device, subscribe to our channel. We need more followers, helps us get some awareness out there. Watching this on YouTube, I want to get my YouTube channel presence going more and more so I get to take this message to more people. Please subscribe and like our page and comment and retweet, and all that stuff goes out there. So, Dr. Nolan, have a great Saturday. I know you're already loosened up, so you're ready to go.
Yeah.
But we really appreciate sharing your knowledge, and we will spread it out to the world. But we will see you next time on Saturday Recovery with Dr. Nolan. So thanks a lot.
Appreciate you guys.
Bye-bye.